It is May 8th. We'll call the council time agenda to order. We'll start with a councilor roll call.
Councilor Young?
Here.
Councilor Belcott?
Here.
Councilor Bowerman?
Here.
Chair Medviji?
Present.
And Councilor Marshall? Here.
Any amendments to the agenda?
Yes, good afternoon, Chair Medviji. I request that we amend the agenda to remove executive session 9.2. It'll be on for next week instead.
I'm sorry, 9.2 will?
It'll be on for next week instead.
So we'll eliminate it.
Eliminated it for today. Thank you.
Any other amendments? Hearing none, we'll go on to public comments, which are only on agenda items only, and trying to keep away from divisive, uncivil, and rude comments. Are there any?
Yes. And Carmen, you can come up if you'd like to comment.
Okay, is her microphone not on? Because I don't hear it.
Oh, you'll want to push the button.
My name is Carmen DeLeon, and I am asking for special attention because I'm handicapped and I don't like being made fun of because of my handicap. So maybe you can understand that I have these issues and not make fun of me. I'm trying to understand.
No one's been making fun of you,
I'm not
from
asking
the
you a
council.
question. I'm making a request. So please don't interrupt me.
No one will make fun
My
of you, ma'am.
understanding is that this agenda is on compost and waste, or is it about the minutes of the first? Because I know that they were talking about waste management, and I wanted to talk about how tons and tons of food, it's not, that was that earlier today? Because I thought it said the minutes from May 1st. May 1st agenda minutes. That's what I want to talk about. Yeah, okay, do I start now? Well, what I read at home, it said it was on the minutes, that's why I showed up. I was like, it said minutes from May 1st, and so I said, here I come. Because I listened to what I said May 1st. Okay, the minutes I talked, well, I know what I said on May 1st, and I was talking about nicely about the military schools and how they help people, and I don't know how that's bashing. That's why, okay, on the minutes, I talked about my personal experience of the people I know that have gone through military school and training, and I have found them to be exceptional people. I do not find in any way, shape, or form that that is insulting or any way bashing the military. If anything, you know, I'd be insulted by anybody claiming that I did that. So I just want to reiterate that one of the best things that I have seen is that they separate the boys and the girls in schools all their life, because that way they don't have the trauma of, you know, competing with the other sex when really there is no competition. We are women, they are men. We have mammary glands, we are made to be mothers, and men have pectoral glands and are naturally stronger than us. So there's no, you know, two ways about it. But anyways, my point is that I did make comments about this in a favorable fashion, and I don't expect to be intimidated and made fun of because of my disabilities. If anything, you should respect me for being disabled and for even showing up. And I would like to talk about the trout and the food thing about the school, because they've kept tons and tons of waste out of the landfills by separating compost from recycling. And I didn't get to read this agenda because the one at home said minutes from the second.
Okay, your time has expired. Thank you. Are there any calls online?
Yes, I have one caller online. Please state your name and go ahead.
I'm going to be playing my 3 minutes of the minutes on old business
Live citizen of Clark County, Washington.
of May 1st.
Looking at the minutes in print, I do not see
the open public comment speakers, there's 3 of them, whether they were on the phone or in person. That needs to be listed on there for proper transparency of the minutes. So maybe you can add that today. Also, it mentions I-5 safety about, so we want to make sure that there will be no light rail over the I-5 bridge and no tolls. And I want to let citizens know that the mayor of Vancouver is pushing that agenda of light rail and tolls unless they stand up in assembly like our forefathers.
I don't know if anyone else can hear, but I can't hear a word of this. I'm not sure what's going on.
This is,
There's something.
excuse me, stop interrupting, please. Stop interrupting.
Well, because of an open
Your
order.
comments are, they're unintelligible. I'm not sure what, are you on a
Okay, well,
speakerphone
thank you
or
then.
something?
So I'll continue and ask citizens to listen to May 1st recording. You go on the council time, you push that button because on Wednesday they do not record over CVTV. I'm also going to say that, so they need to listen to the minutes of May 1st, but especially also the minutes of April 24th, which was on the May 1st minutes. There's patriots standing up to, contest what our local government is doing right now. So all of that is in the minutes. It's very important that people look back over minutes, look at what people have submitted over online. And I'm going to listen to this recording to see if this worked, that you actually are telling me the truth, that you can't hear it, and so that'll be just fine. I do want to mention also your RCWs that you're going to look at in your executive, which is on the agenda. It's not particularly the one that you're talking about today, but I think it is. It's the one that I spoke about, 4230.110, the AI. And I want to make sure that citizens know that when they get a hold of the telecommunications and something else that I can't remember what that was about, or Comcast or any of that, that when the next pandemic comes, they will use those telecommunications against the people, because when you're in a Marxist state of frame of mind, you want to rule over the people instead of the people being able to speak up their 3 minutes without interruption, out of respect. They've lost all respect for we the citizens and we the people. It's very evident that people can go back a whole year and see what this is all about. I wish I had more time. I'd put it on a thumb drive. Every time that there's an interruption or something very belligerently said about the public. And it's pretty sad, and you can say whatever you want today, but it is on record.
Okay, your time has expired. Is there anyone else? There's no one else in the room. Anyone else online? Okay, that concludes public comment then. Old business are the minutes that were referenced a few moments ago.
I move approval of the minutes.
Second.
Any corrections, discussion? Hearing those, none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Okay, we'll go on to new business, 5.1, proclamation, Eric Johnson retirement.
Good afternoon, Council. This is Jordan Bogey for the record. Here with you virtually this afternoon. So this first proclamation is related to Eric Johnson, who has been the executive director of WASAC for the last 16 years. He is retiring, and they have requested that all the counties in the state put out proclamations to celebrate his tenure. And this is the edited version that was trimmed down from the draft we originally received from WASAC. So it would today be looking for thumbs up or down to approve this proclamation.
Okay, thank you for that. I'm seeing 3 online and 2 from the dais.
Wonderful. Thank you, councilors. And so I also am covering 5.2 here. This is another proclamation. This is a request that came through Community Services. May is Community Action Month. My understanding is that this is a proclamation that we have done in the past as well. And it happens to be the 60th anniversary of the Economic Opportunity Act, which created some of these community action programs as part of LBJ's War on Poverty programs. So this is another one that I'd be looking for a thumbs up or down or any comments from council.
So I'm seeing 3 thumbs up, 4, 5. I want to step back to 5.1 for just a second as we address 5.2. Declaring the Johnson Day, will that actually be read from the dais, or is this just going to be sent to WASAC?
Well, that it really is up to council. I had thought that we might read it from the dais, although
Okay.
We'll also be sending it over to them.
Okay, well, I'll plan on reading it, but how about the one we're discussing now, 5.2, community action? We had unanimous thumbs up. Is there a volunteer to read it?
I would like to read it. I actually worked for a couple of community action agencies early in my career, and I have a fondness for them.
Okay, fair enough. And then we'll go to 5.3. Are you presenting this one as well?
It is indeed, Chair. And so the Clark Regional Wastewater District has requested a letter of support for a community funding request that they are sending to Representative Perez. And they are looking for funding to complete their Wallace Heights septic elimination project. And they chose this project. It's their top priority project in the area for replacing septic systems and connecting them to the larger sewer system. There has been some documented septic failure in the area. It's also home to Sacagawea Elementary School and near Kleinline Pond and Salmon Creek. And so this is a high priority for them. They have received some funding from the state of Washington as well. I know Representatives Cheney and Wiley have been working on this with the Regional Wastewater District, but they are looking for some support from the federal government to find the rest of the funding for this project. And the representative's office has asked for more letters of support from local government officials. And so that is their request today. And so I'd be looking for council's either approval or any edits or rejection if you aren't supportive of this letter. And happy to answer any questions.
Thanks for this, Jordan. And we did have a similar, broader, at least brief discussion when we had our legislative delegation present about all of the sewer system that was in place, and even within Vancouver, but within the urban growth boundary, that people remained on septic systems. And the only way we can get them off the septic and onto the sewer is when they fail, ostensibly. We don't have any other leverage. And the biggest impediment is the funding to get everybody hooked up, because it varies household to household, but it's a huge cost. So we really do need, and this is more targeted requests, but we do need more state and federal funding if we can get it, so we can put our wastewater treatment plant to its fullest use. Any other comments?
Well, I'm fully supportive. I sent an individual letter of support. I wonder though, Jordan, do you know what the request is for how much funding?
I know the total project cost is about $3.2 million. And I believe they received just under $1 million from the state of Washington. And so I haven't actually seen the amount requested, but my understanding is that it was to get to the full funding amount. So I'd imagine it's somewhere in the neighborhood of around $2 million.
Great, thank you for that. And I think it's because it's so very expensive to do these hookups after the fact that it's taken a long time for that to happen. So I'm fully supportive.
As am I. Did you have some edits as well, or? Oh, okay. So we have 2 thumbs up from the dais. How about online? Okay, looks universal, unanimous affirmation for you, Jordan.
Thank you so much. I'll get that.
All right, so
sent
that's
over.
not, so all council signatures will go on to it. Moving on to 6, councilor reports.
Chair, I have a
None.
question before we go to
Please,
counselor
go ahead.
reports. Jordan, do
Please.
you know if Eric's gonna be at the WASC meeting next week when we're there physically? Because I was thinking maybe we could just not read it, but just deliver it there. Do you know?
Yes, I do believe that he will be there, and my understanding is that they'd like to present him with all of the proclamations from all of the counties at that time.
Okay.
And so we may not have actually officially read it yet, but I figured we could get a copy over to him as well.
Okay. Thank you.
So you should have the official one to take with you.
We have the final draft that you just approved, but it will not be read in a public meeting before next week because I don't believe there's a Tuesday meeting next week, but we can still read it the following week and say.
As far as handing it to them,
You're asking about the blue envelope one that we hand the folks? Yes, yeah.
it's just for presentation. You can get a photo op. with
Yes,
his
we will do
retirement.
that. We will do that. Thanks, Chair.
Did you have other councilor reports?
I do. I was at the RTC meeting last night and I asked about C-TRAN ridership in particular because we hadn't heard the latest and greatest stats. And C-TRAN is working on compiling that data right now and they hope to have it available to the RTC board by next month.
Glenn, Karen, do you have any reports? Okay. Well, let's move on then to number 7, work session requests.
None today.
Okay. We are plowing forward. Policy updates. Jordan.
All right, counselors, I do have one item for you today. It's following up from last week. You'll recall that we discussed an issue with the lease around the Recovery Hotel property that council had approved use of 1406 funding for. And council's guidance at that point was to go back and see if we could get assurances, even without a deed and covenant restriction on the property, to ensure that it would be used for supportive housing for the next 5 years. If we could have assurances that the operator had a strong lease that we believed that they would be able to have for the next 5 years. And unfortunately, after reviewing the lease, there is a clause in it that gives the property owner the absolute right to unilaterally terminate the lease at any time after not less than 1 year following written notice that the lessor wants to improve, raise, alter, reposition, or redevelop the premises. So the upshot of that is that the property owner could at any point say that they are going to do other alterations or renovations and give a year's notice to Lumen Fidelis that they would not that they would not be able to continue after that year. And so in a worst case scenario from the county's perspective, that lease could be ended after a year. And so we don't have that assurance of the property being used for supportive recovery housing for that 5-year period. And I also had a chance to check in with Michael Torres over in community services. And, he really wanted to reiterate strongly that his recommendation is the covenant process to really protect public investments in this kind of work. And so that's where we find ourselves right now, without the assurance that this property will be used for supportive housing in the long term, or in the 5-year term at least.
Okay, thanks for that thorough follow-up. Appreciate it. So what does council want to do?
Well, I think it's a shame, but I would go with Michael Torres's recommendation that it's really, we need a covenant for 5 years to protect public dollars.
Sure.
Glenn, Michelle, Karen?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, yeah, this is really, really disappointing that we're at this juncture. Really supportive of what the funds were going to be used for, but I also agree there has to be a degree of assurance, and I don't think we have it right now. I don't want to say absolutely no. If staff is able to somehow come up with a way of that assurance, I would still be supportive of it, but I can't support the use of the funds currently with that risk that it could potentially only be useful for 1 year, if even that, because it would take time for them to develop the improvements anyway.
I would say thank you,
Okay.
Jordan, for checking with Michael. And I appreciate his insight on that and concur with it. So that would be, unfortunately, a no.
I concur with Counselor Young and Counselor Bowerman. No.
All right, so that's unanimous. So we'll perhaps, I don't know if Michael already has a plan for the money, or will it come back to us for reapplication to some other good use?
Yeah, we can follow up with them, but they will not be redirecting the funding without council's direction, so we'll bring it back.
Okay, thanks for that, Jordan. It is disappointing, as Glenn said. I think we all feel that disappointment. Any other policy updates? That was it?
That's all I've got for you today.
All right, so we have just one executive session under RCW 42.30.110, paren 1, paren little I, for approximately 15 minutes. I'm assuming no action.
No after action, thanks.
And the lawyers will be present. It is, let's plan on going right into executive session, and we'll come back at 1:45 to rejoin this council time. Okay, so we'll adjourn this meeting until 1:45.
Hello, the chair has asked to extend executive session for 5 minutes, and the council will now be returning at 1:50.
Okay, we're back in session. We have a quorum. There's no action to take. We did meet in executive session with the lawyer, and we'll adjourn for today. Thank you.